So I'm going to start with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, and it goes like this. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny. And I love the grounding here in beliefs. And so this will become something we explore further as we move forward. So I'm going to give you first a definition of unlearning that I gained from my lived experience, and then I'll go through my story, and then we'll go into breakout rooms, because what this is really about is your experience and story with unlearning and exploring that for the learning that it will offer us. And so the definition that I came up with from my experience with unlearning is the process of reconnecting with your soulful self and choosing to shed what you know in favor of learning anew with fresh eyes aligned with your chosen beliefs and values. And my unlearning story coincides with my coaching journey. And so in 2013, I was about to start Georgetown, and I had 5 colleagues at work that had been through the program, and they were all giving me kind of a heads up on what to expect. And they were telling me, well, you're going to have to bring real issues to share and to work through as part of the triad coaching. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll play, I'm game. Inside, my inner voice was saying, yeah, but I'm going to control what that looks like. I'm going to control how vulnerable I am. And so as I'm going through, matriculating through the program, I'm struggling. I'm struggling with wanting to help syndrome, with applying the learning. And as part of the program, we all have learning circle advisors, and we go through one of our recorded coaching sessions with them. And so my learning circle advisor was listening to my recording, and we're going through this conversation. She's like, what's going on with you? Like joking, because we have a pretty good relationship. She's like, this doesn't seem like you, what's going on? And I had to figure that out, because something was getting in the way of me showing up as myself and showing up vulnerably and present and listening and being curious. And so that led to me going through this process of discovery, of understanding what was getting in the way. And so the deep dive process that I went through took about a week. It was between the second to last and the last set of classes at Georgetown. And it was this deep, introspective, reflective excavation inside to kind of explore what's getting in my way, because I knew it was something with me. And so what came up for me after that process, which involved more than a few tears, was I had an unhealthy relationship with vulnerability. My belief was vulnerability meant weakness. And so that was learned, right? That wasn't something I chose. I chose to adopt it over time, but that was something I learned over the course of my life. And so vulnerability meant weakness. Men don't show emotion. Men don't cry. Various different flavors of that, and different contexts as well, along with those two. And so in order for me to actually change, something had to be different. I had to create that change inside me. And I had to come up with a relationship with vulnerability that was meaningful. It wasn't just for the objective of getting through the program. That was going to be transactional, and that wasn't going to work. It had to be something that meant something, that would be foundational to who I'd be going forward as a coach and otherwise. And so the reframe I came up with, which was chosen, right? So the distinction between learned and chosen beliefs is an important one, was vulnerability is human. Vulnerability is strength. Vulnerability is how we connect with people. And so that changed how I saw myself. And for the first time, at least in this way, I experienced self-love, not from an ego perspective, but really getting connected to myself. And so as we go on with completing the program, fast forward 3 weeks, I'm going into Georgetown, the place where we're having our sessions. I go up to the second floor, and between the elevator and the classroom is about 100 feet. And 2 different classmates stopped me separately and said exactly the same thing. they said, "You look lighter." And they weren't talking about my weight. They could see that the weight of the world that I'd been so frequently carrying on my shoulders and manifesting in my body language was different. Something had changed. And so while I didn't feel like I needed the validation because I'd been through my process and I came through that pretty strong in my belief that the change was something that was going to sustain, the congruence of how others were seeing me along with how I saw myself was important. And so what I'm going to invite you to do as we go into the breakthrough rooms is explore your stories of unlearning. And to kind of go through my process, it was rooted in challenging my belief. And I ask you all to think about, when was the last time you challenged your beliefs in a healthy way, right? Just got curious about it. Where did that come from? Is that learned or chosen? And got really curious about that in terms of, wait a minute, I don't know that this belongs to me. I don't know that this belongs with me as we continue down the journey of our life. And so I'm going to invite you all to identify and share one experience you've had with shifting a relationship with a belief, perspective, or something that was meaningful in your life, and then what the impact was. And so we'll do that in the breakout rooms. We'll come back and debrief. And I look forward to learning from you in terms of your experience with unlearning, because this is the most powerful learning I've ever experienced. Classes, books, whatever you want to kind of point to as learning, this is the one that stuck the most and was the most meaningful, because it wasn't just about Georgetown. It wasn't just about coaching. It shifted the way I live my life personally and professionally. And it's how I serve people now through changing their relationship with vulnerability, control, fear, and examining and open up the possibilities that they may have been suppressing or muting because they weren't fully stepping into who they were. And so now I guess we're ready at this point to shift into the breakthrough rooms.